And tonight, I would like to first introduce, I have the pleasure and honor of introducing the woman who is leading the charge here for Common Ground. Her love for God, our nation, our children, and our state has opened up many doors for her. Her main job is she is on staff with Pastor Jack Hibbs at Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills. She is the leader of Real Impact Team of Calvary Chino Hills. She's an executive director of faith and public policy, and one of her newest jobs is that she is working for the John Cox for Governor campaign. She also is the chairwoman of the Faith and Religious Liberties Coalition, and I really don't know how she does it all, but I'm so very, very thankful, and she's just a wonderful woman. May I introduce Gina Gleason?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. And I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you about different ways that you can become politically active. You're coming to these types of meetings because you want to hear about what's going on in our community, but there's a lot going on in our community, and it's not just what we're talking about here that's going on in the schools, it's political things. So I put an outline together that they're going to pass out, and I'm going to go through it with you, because I think it's really easy for a person to get politically active, because that's what I did one day. I was a stay-at-home mom homeschooling my kids, and I decided to get up and do something about what was going on in our state and our nation. So once you get this handout, we'll go over it quickly. One of the things I want to say is that at Common Ground, we are pro-life, pro-marriage, pro-religious freedom. We care about our kids and how they're being raised and what's going on in our public schools, so we are considered conservatives. So when we talk about these issues, it's coming from a biblical, conservative perspective. And because we're not affiliated with the church or any other kind of nonprofit, we can talk about political things, and namely political parties. And I'm going to be bringing up ways you can become involved with the Republican Party. Why the Republican Party? Because when you look at the Republican Party platform, they are pro-life, pro-marriage, pro-religious freedom, rights for parents raising their kids, and that's the party that we have to stick with. So let's go over this quickly. I won't take too much time because we have a great speaker for you tonight. So number one, connect with the Republican Party, or the GOP. Did you know that every party in the state has a monthly meeting in every county in the state? It's called Central Committee. Anybody that's registered Republican can attend these meetings. That's what I started doing. I started going to monthly Central Committee meetings, and this is where the business of the party takes place. This is where candidates are endorsed, things are voted on about what takes place within the Republican Party in the county. So that's one way that you get to know people, you get training, and there's just a lot of activity, a lot of events. You meet candidates, you meet elected officials, and it's just a great way to get your feet wet. You don't even have to be political yourself. Just go sit down and listen to what they have to say. As a matter of fact, San Bernardino County Republican Party is having their monthly meeting this coming Thursday. And I put the website addresses here so you can go to their websites and you can look up their information about where they meet, the times, who's speaking, and all that. So try that one day. I've been to many, many Republican Party meetings. The GOP meets here in San Bernardino County at the Ontario Doubletree. The Orange County Party meets at a hotel right off the 55, I believe. Los Angeles, I don't know where they meet. Riverside meets at the Mission Inn, okay, in Riverside. So take a look, go introduce yourself to the leadership there and get involved. And then sign up for their email updates, so that way you can keep up what's going on with the party and with candidates. Number two, join a Republican club. That was one of the first things I did. I joined a Republican Women Federated Club. There isn't one in this general area, but they're all over. A big one is in Chaffee. They meet in Upland, Rancho Cucamonga area. The Republican Women Federated, at one point I was a president of a local Republican Women Federated Club, but I kind of switched my path and went into the area of more church kind of activism. But that's a really good group, and there's so many different clubs that you can get involved in, along with college groups, and of course the Tea Party. So volunteer for a political campaign or candidate. This is one of the first things I also did. I volunteered on Mike Morrell, Assemblymember Mike Morrell at the time, when he was running for office. And because I liked what Mike stood for, I decided to get involved in his campaign. And it's so simple. You show up at their political office one day, they give you an overview of how to go knock on doors and pass out information, and that's a great way to get your feet wet. We have so many good Republican candidates running right now, and if you're interested in getting connected to a candidate, let me know, and I'll connect you with the right person. But that's another good way to get your feet wet and to learn about what's going on, because we have some really great candidates this year, especially John Cox. Linda did mention that I am volunteering on his campaign. And if anyone's interested in working on John Cox for governor campaign, let me know. We could use the help because we need to get a Republican governor elected. I hope you all agree with me on that. And then all these other candidates, I know all of them that are listed here, and they're all good conservative candidates. And then think about local candidates. We have our Senate and Assembly candidates. A lot of good candidates ran this year and got into the top 2, so we'll be voting for conservative candidates in November. And then we have local races coming up this November, school board and city council races. If you're interested in working on those, if you don't live in this county or in this area, take a look in your own city, because we need to get good conservative candidates into our city council and especially into our school districts. Getting to know your elected officials. This is really easy. Most of the elected officials, I know them because I show up. I introduce myself to them. I go to their events. I show up at Central Committee. I go to Republican conventions. And it's not because I'm trying to be so political. I just want to know who these people are. And that's one way to know. You need to know what they stand for. You need to hear what they're saying, what they're doing. And it's really important, and it will make a difference. Can you imagine what California would be like if we had a more active citizenry that was getting up and supporting good candidates? It doesn't always have to be money. Of course, money is good, but we need the bodies. We need the hands and feet out there making a difference. That's how I got started. Then you can volunteer as a poll worker on election day. That's a really important job, you guys. I think that people look at it and say, oh, I wouldn't want to do that. But it is so important to have good people that we can trust working on election day. There is a lot of fraud in California, and I've worked the polls myself. I've been trained. A lot of my friends have been trained. And when people come in to vote, you treat everyone equally with respect. It doesn't make any difference what party they're with. It just doesn't make any difference. We want good, fair, honest elections. Plus, you get paid. So you would go to the county office, contact them. I put the addresses of each county offices, and you can take a look at what they say about what they're training, how they're training, but you can get paid for this. It's a long day. It's from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., but I think it's well worth it. We are actually a polling place at my own church, Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills, and I always go walk in to see how it's going, making sure that everybody's being treated fairly and stuff. And it's really a good thing to do for our state, for our nation. Number 6, volunteer with Election Integrity Project California. This is an amazing organization. They are the people that are watching the elections to make sure that we have fair elections. They are actually suing, I believe it's the state of California, because there has been so much fraud in the state regarding voting rolls. They are trying to clean it up, and with their help, they will make a difference in our state. They are looking for volunteers to work on election day for them. As a volunteer, you do not get paid, but you watch the polls. You watch the poll workers. You watch who's coming and going. You're making sure that they're not bringing in a whole bus full of people that aren't registered to vote to go out and vote. And they train you on what to look for. They're an amazing group, and I hope we get more people supporting them. Run for office yourself. there's a lot of people that I know through the years have stepped out. I know we have Andrew here, has run for school board and been elected many times. And, you know, just start praying about it, because the Lord may really want to use you. We need good, honest people in all levels of government. And there is training for you. Not only does the Republican Party, each Central Committee provide training, as a matter of fact, San Bernardino County has a training coming up. It may be this week. And there are different organizations that provide training to you also. So consider that. I know that there's a lot of people in this room right now, I could pick you out, who would be great elected officials. Become familiar with the Leadership Institute. If you go to this website, leaderinstitute.org, they have so much information, it's almost overwhelming. They're talking about things like how to run a campaign, how to be a candidate, even just how to be a grassroots citizen, and some of the ideas and some of the things that you can do. So it's probably some of the things that I'm talking about right now are listed on their website, but they have videos, they have handouts, they have in-person trainings. I may even bring them out here one day to do a training for us, but they're a fantastic conservative organization. I think that you would really like the website. And one of the things we want to do here is provide you with tools so that you can learn about what we stand for as conservatives, as Republicans. So here we have, at the table, we have the political party platform excerpts, or it's like a comparison. It lists the differences between the Republicans and the Democrats and some of the few issues, life, marriage, etc., and where they stand and how they are in stark opposite. They are just so opposite of each other. And this platform, the platform is what a party says about itself. They put out this document, I don't know, maybe it's 60 pages, I'm not even sure, it could be 40 pages. But they talk about what they believe and what they stand for. So that's one thing that you can do. You can hand this out at church because it's legal, and you can share this with family and friends. So that's one of the tools we're providing. We're also going to provide information about legislation. And you know, we've all been talking about comprehensive sex ed here, right? That's I think, going to be one of our biggest fights this coming year and in the next few years to come, because we know how horrendous it actually is. But comprehensive sex ed is a law that was passed in 2015 and signed by Governor Jerry Brown. So what I did was I took a look at all the information that was out on comprehensive sex ed, and I put together this infographic. An infographic is just basically graphic images with a few bullet points explaining whatever the issue is. Right here I'm talking about comprehensive sex ed, or CSE. So you can look at this and you can read quickly and you can say, oh my gosh, this is horrible, right? It's kind of stirs something up in you because you realize, I didn't know this was happening, or I should tell someone, or this is not going to happen to my child, or whatever the emotion is that once you learn about it. But one of the things I wanted to share with you is, on the backside, who actually voted for this law to come into our public schools. And if you have a copy there, okay, Lisa's handing it out. If you look on the backside, you're going to see here that the California Healthy Youth Act, or AB 329, was signed into law by Governor Jerry Brown, who is a Democrat, on October 1st of 2015. Voting no on the California Healthy Youth Act were 40 Republicans and 0 Democrats. And I list every legislator in the Senate and in the Assembly who voted on AB 329, who voted no. They did not want CSE in our public schools. Then you look a little bit lower. Here's the shocking news. Voting yes on the California Healthy Youth Act were 1 Republican and 77 Democrats, all listed here, senators and assembly members. So their names are here, so you can see who said yes to comprehensive sex ed in California public schools. What I'm trying to show you here is that there is a certain party that shares our values and there's another party that does not share our values. And this is not the only issue that there is a stark difference. I'm going to produce many of these, talking about various pieces of legislation, from the bathroom, co-ed bathrooms in our public schools, to nurses, midwives, and physician assistants performing abortions in California. Who do you think voted for that? Not the Republicans, it was the Democrats. So we need to know this. So we'll be providing more and more information. Every month when you come back, we'll have more information for you. So what I'm proposing to you is that you start thinking about people in your circle who you can talk about these issues with. You want to start praying that the Lord would put these people on your heart and mind, because we need people to vote. We need people to vote for good candidates. We need people to stop being apathetic, because we are losing our state, we are losing our schools, and our kids are being inundated with things that we would never, ever want them to see. And it's happening because laws are passed. So think about some people that you could probably reach out to. People that you know, okay, well, maybe they're Christians or they're conservatives, but they don't vote. They've never been registered. Or they're registered, but you know they never go out to vote on election day. You really need to reach out to them and convince them to vote for good candidates and to just vote, period. So think about those people in your lives. I have them. I think everybody has them, right? Don't pick people that are radical, that will just get in your face and scream at you, or they hate President Trump so much that they hate every Republican, or you name it. Well, you know who those people are. They're just some people, even your own sibling or your own parent, that you probably would never want to talk to them about these types of issues. But we all have family and friends in our circle that we can approach, and we can try to persuade them to get out and vote for the right candidate and just to vote, period. So think about that. Start praying about that. And then follow up with them on election day. Election day is just so important, and if there's something that you can do to help get the vote out, if you can remember to call them. Hey, sister, I just reminded you to call to vote today. It's election day. Do you need a ride, or whatever whatever you can do to help them. If they're a vote by mail candidate, I believe the law has actually changed now that you can get their ballot and actually go drop it off for them. So, I'll consider that. I'll find out on that for sure, but just make sure that we get people to the polls, because conservative Republicans are greatly outnumbered in California. And if we don't each take responsibility for what we can do on our own side, in our circle, we're going to continue to lose every year. This is just too serious. And I can't do this by myself. But all of us working together in California, especially the church, especially Christians, we have to try something different. We have to do something new than what we've ever done before. So yeah, we go out and vote on election day, but I'm just taking care of myself and my vote. No, from now on, we need to start making sure that other people have a little help in being responsible, because our future really is dependent upon us, you guys. Okay? So that's it. Thank you.